So in the midst of everything that's going on with Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, we have some brand new information to do with COD 2024 Zombies, which we know is being made by Treyarch. You may be thinking, isn't it a little bit early? We've just had Modern Warfare 3. COD 2024 is literally a year away, but if you know anything about the Call of Duty cycle, we usually get leaks for the next Call of Duty around about the beginning of the year, January, February time, but it's not uncommon for us to have some small leaks before then. This has been the case for a very long time, so the fact that we're getting leaks for Treyarch's next game this early on isn't unusual, especially with the way that COD's going in the future, every game being on the IW engine. It seems it's getting easier and easier for leakers to extract string from the game files to do with future Call of Duty games. This information comes from Hey I'm Alex, who has released credible information in the past, and he's posted loads of T10 strings, which I believe stands for Treyarch 10, relating to Treyarch's next game. If you want to check them out for yourself, I will leave the link to one down in the description. I can't show them on screen, otherwise this video is going to get taken down if they are real, but I can talk about them, and Mark 1 Network has done a pretty good job at laying out some of the stuff that's mentioned in here. So of course, right now we don't know what the game's going to be called. It could be Black Ops Cold War 2, Black Ops V, Black Ops 6 if they're counting Cold War as BO5. I doubt they're going to do that though, so let's just call it Black Ops 5 for now. But just a few, and I guess more obvious things that we're going to be seeing in Treyarch's next game is the mystery box, the pack-a-punch machine, large ammo boxes which we saw in Cold War Zombies, and Dark Ether field emitter devices. If for some reason you didn't play Cold War Zombies, ammo boxes were in that game. Before then, if you wanted to purchase ammo for your gun in Zombies, you needed a max ammo power-up, or you'd have to buy your ammo from wall buys. In Cold War, they introduced ammo boxes, so for a specific price you could fill up your ammo anytime you wanted, which was helpful. I will admit it made the game a lot easier, but it was a new feature to Zombies that I didn't mind, so that will be returning. And as for the Dark Ether field emitter devices, I'm guessing this is just a rename for our field upgrades, such as the Frenzied Guard, Healing Aura, etc. Now the leak also mentions that we're getting 2 launch maps on day 1, which is great news because in Cold War we had 1, and it was sad to see because in the game before that, Black Ops 4, we had 4 launch maps. In Black Ops 3 we had 2. In Black Ops 2 we had 2, Nuketown and Transit. In Black Ops 1 we had Kino and 5. It was disappointing in Cold War because we only had 1 launch map, but for next year we are getting 2. Apparently the first launch map will be set in a city, and the text mentions within this city there will be a bank, church and police tape. A little bit weirdly specific there, but okay. The map will likely have wire ascending just like we have on Mauer the Toten, so you can get up and down buildings quickly instead of running upstairs. You can just zip wire up. So that's what we know about the first launch Zombies map. Looking at the code, it specifically says ZM Bank Roof Debris, Church Door Gateway, ZM Wire Ascend Top Cable. Right now we are so early on, this is bare bones information. There is not much to go on, which leaves a lot to our imagination, but the fact that it mentions a bank, church, police tape is all stuff you would see in a city, so from that we can guess that it's going to be a city map, but that's really all we know, along with being able to ascend up and down, which tells us there are tall buildings, not just small shacks that we got in something like Buried that you'd see in a town. So from all of this we can make out that we are more than likely going to be getting a city map, but that's it. And to me this is pretty exciting because the only real city map we've ever had in Zombies was Mauer the Toten and Shadows of Evil. Every other map really is either taking place in the wilderness or in some kind of enclosed base, not in big open cities. The other one obviously is Transit, but that was more smaller towns split into sections instead of one big city map, which it sounds like this could be. That to me is exciting because it's an atmosphere, it's a vibe that I really like. I love Shadows of Evil. I'd love to get more Zombies maps like that. I just like the backdrop of the city in the background, potential skyscrapers. I mean, if we can get anything even close to Shadows of Evil again, I'll take it. But that's the first Zombies map on launch, and according to these leaks, we're also going to be getting a second one, which mentions a ship with a deck cannon trap that you can activate and set the angle of. It's seemingly set on an island with an elevator that takes you to an underground prison and lab. And looking at the coding, some of it's called ZM_elevator up down, ZM elevator cell block door, ZM elevator laboratory. We have ZM deck cannon barrel up and down. It also mentions a tentacle trap. So we have ZM tentacle close, tentacle down, tentacle eat, tentacle idle, ZM_Sir_crystal. So that's super exciting. The only thing I've got to say is I don't know how to differentiate these stuff within this coding, how you would be able to tell that this code relates to 2 separate Zombies maps instead of 1. I think there might be a bit of guessing going on here when he says it's seemingly set on an island, but it could be possible if we have tentacle traps, deck cannon barrels, and laboratories and cell blocks. It would at least suggest a map near water or on the coast, which at the same time could give you the idea that we are talking about 2 different Zombies maps here, because the coding also mentions a bank, church and police tape, which you would think wouldn't be located near to deck cannon barrels. So I think, and I could be wrong, that's where the ideas come from that this must be 2 separate zombies maps. I just wanted to put that out there in case it's one, which would be a weird mixture of theming. The text does also mention some more basic zombies features that you'd probably expect, such as speed cola, tombstone, the wonder fizz, crafting. Those perks are in every Treyarch Zombies game, and crafting is something that we had in Black Ops Cold War, so it's no surprise that that's returned. But the final and arguably the most important thing that you can find within this zombies text is this ZM_Zod_bubblegum machine. Now, it's anyone's guess as to what this means, but the obvious thing that comes to your mind straight away is the Gobblegum machine. And it wouldn't be a surprise to me if Treyarch were bringing a feature like that back, because it was such a big money-making method in BO3 Zombies. Now, of course, we're not going to be getting the Gobblegum machine, because from a story point of view, that wouldn't make sense. That was Dr. Monty's. That part of the storyline is over, so they can't call it the Gobblegum machine, but they can bring that same exact system back, just renamed. And if these leaks are to be believed, that's what they've done. Instead of getting Dr. Monty's Gobblegum machine, we're now going to be getting a bubblegum machine. Like I said, I'd think this would work the same way as Gobblegums. It brought in a lot of money for Treyarch. I'm surprised we had nothing like this in Cold War, to be honest, or Vanguard or Modern Warfare 3. The latest games you could excuse, but at least in Cold War you would have thought we'd had something like this, but we didn't. So to see this return, even though I personally didn't really use Gobblegums in BO3, I know a lot of people did, a lot of people loved that system. It brought a whole new element to zombies, so in that aspect, even though, yes, it's probably returning from a monetization standpoint, it's a system that a lot of people enjoyed. So it looks like a rebrand of Dr. Monty's Gobblegums is returning in the form of bubblegum machines. But that's everything that we learned from these leaks to do with COD 2024 Zombies. We can get a little bit more out of this if we look at the end of Cold War Zombies and how that finished, because we know this is going to be a sequel to that game, meaning it should be a prequel to what we've seen in Modern Warfare 3, because MW3 Zombies takes place in 2021, Cold War was in the 80s, but in Cold War's final cutscene Forsaken, which took place in 1985, we saw it said 5 years later, and it showed us Dr. Peck in Japan. So you would think that the next Zombies game will at least take place in the 1990s, and we could possibly link this to these leaks, because we see Dr. Peck pointing to a location on this map. He points to somewhere in the ocean near Japan, and we have these COD 2024 leaks talking about a deck cannon and tentacles. That sounds very much like island theming. Could one of these zombies maps take place wherever he's pointing to here in Asia? Maybe. And the other thing we can learn is on Richtofen's computer screen we saw his group memo where he listed out 4 different objectives that he's completed or had, and it said entity acquired, all breaches sealed, Maxis locked within the Dark Ether, she is no longer a problem for Project Janus, divert strike team to Black Site 13 for indefinite containment, and I will shut down Requiem, our agents can move on Weaver and the rest. Now we know Weaver and the crew were arrested. They ended up dying later on. We saw that in MW3's intro cutscene. What will happen to them next? We don't know. The game isn't finished yet. But Weaver, Gray, Strauss and Carver end up dying anyway. We'll just have to wait and see exactly how. Samantha, as is mentioned, was locked within the Dark Ether. But the main thing that was mentioned that we still know nothing about really is Project Janus. That was the reason why Richtofen did everything he did in Cold War Zombies, which included locking up Weaver and the crew and getting Samantha trapped within the Dark Ether, all led to Project Janus. But we never found out what that was. I'm assuming that's going to continue in Treyarch's next game next year, so potentially some of this leaked text relates to that. But of course we'll just have to wait and see. There were a ton of things that took place in Cold War's ending, such as Richtofen revealing himself to us, but also the conversation that he had with Samantha. He said to Samantha, you'll find out who I am very soon, but she's now trapped in the Dark Ether, so how's that going to happen? Obviously that confrontation between the two is going to take place, and it's going to be epic when Samantha remembers Richtofen. There are loads of questions that come along with that. Why did he torture his childhood best friend? Was it for good reasons that we'll find out later on? Was it for bad reasons because Richtofen's still evil? We'll have to wait and see. But as far as this news goes to do with COD 2024 Zombies, if it is true that we are getting 2 Zombies maps, that we are getting a Gobblegum-like system replaced with Bubblegums, a potential island map with a ship, a tentacle trap, a laboratory and cells, and then a city map at the same time, not forgetting round-based zombies, even though that isn't mentioned here, it's obvious that that's going to return. I can guarantee we are getting round-based zombies in the next game, more than likely alongside Outbreak 2.0, or a continuation of the game mode that we've seen in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. But it's all very exciting, mainly because Treyarch have had about 3 to 4 years to make this game. over the past few Modern Warfare 3 zombies, Vanguard zombies, and Cold War zombies, they've only had, well, 16 months in the case of Modern Warfare 3 zombies, a year or so in the case of Vanguard, and I think it was a couple of years for Cold War, I could be wrong. But normally Treyarch get about 3 years to make a game. They've had 3 to 4 years to make this next one, and we know what they can do given the right amount of time. So for that reason, I'm excited. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. To be honest, I would expect even more leaks come the start of next year now. But drop a like rating if you've enjoyed, leave your comments, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.